Thanks, Bash. That was really sweet. Hello, everyone. Okay. So imagine for a moment that your life is flashing before your eyes. What do you see? What will you remember? Will it be the endless hours spent sitting in the office, or the stress of chasing that perfect grade? Or will it be the moments spent with the people who made you feel the happiest? For years, researchers have been debating the topic of happiness, seeking to unravel its complexities and understand what truly makes us feel fulfilled. Is happiness a fleeting emotion? Can it be measured? Is it a choice? Or does it solely depend on the person? As we delve into the subject, we find that happiness is influenced by a myriad of factors. And today, I invite you to explore with me the relationship between social connections and their influence on your happiness. And hopefully, I can get you to see that sometimes it's not about what you know, but about who you know. In my undergrad, I studied psychology, and if anyone here did psych, you will remember the hours spent reading case studies. And this one in particular really stuck with me. Robert Waldinger, an American psychiatrist and the current director of the Harvard Study on Adult Development, hosts a TED Talk on what makes a good life and his lessons from the longest study ever conducted on happiness. The study began in 1938, where they have tracked the lives of over 700 men for over 80 years. They studied every aspect of these men's lives, not knowing how their lives would pan out. Some became factory workers, doctors, lawyers, one US senator. Some climbed the success ladder and others fell in the opposite direction. Pictures of entire lives were painted out in this study. So what did they find? They found that relationships are key. Strong relationships, not wealth nor fame, are the greatest predictors of long-term happiness and health. Participants who were satisfied in their relationships at age 50 were healthier at age 80. And it's not about the number of relationships you have that matters, but the quality of those relationships. People who had less social connections were found to be less happy and tended to have worse health. Those who were in healthier relationships not only reported higher levels of happiness, but better physical health too. And yes, it's not to say that things like exercise and diet do not also play a crucial role in overall well-being, but the study emphasizes that good relationships are as crucial to well-being as maintaining a healthy lifestyle. And lastly, the pursuit of meaning. Well, not only personal achievements, but also meaningful connections with others. So the longest study ever conducted on happiness shows the critical importance that your social connections play in long-term happiness and health. Its findings advocate for prioritizing relationships as a pathway to a fulfilling life, showing that nurturing these connections can lead to lasting emotional and physical benefits. I went through a patch where I was really struggling with my mental health, and the lessons I learned from this book really changed my perspective. It's called Atomic Habits by James Clear, and if you haven't read it, I highly recommend that you do. Clear focuses on how small, consistent changes can lead to significant improvements over time. In one of his chapters, he explores how our social environment shapes our behaviors and habits, reinforcing the idea that our connections influence our happiness. He proposes three main ideas. Number one, your social environment shapes your behavior. The people that we spend time with shape our actions, attitudes, and ultimately our happiness. So when we engage with people who uplift us, we not only adopt their positive habits, but also enhance our own happiness. The next is belonging and imitation. Claire discusses the human tendency to imitate the behaviors of those around us and the natural human instinct to fit in. Think about the last time you were truly happy. Who were you with? Our closest relationships often dictate our emotional states, so choose your people wisely. And lastly, the role of identity. Claire explains that our habits are connected to our identity, which is shaped by our friends and by our community. When we identify with a community that prioritizes joy and connections, we are more likely to embody those traits ourselves. Everyone always emphasizes quality over quantity, and the Pareto principle, or more commonly known as the 80-20 rule by Richard Koch, emphasizes that we should focus on the few activities and relationships that bring the most joy and fulfillment. By focusing on intentional living, so identifying the 20% of your life that contributes to 80% of your happiness, and deepening those key relationships, so investing more time in meaningful connections instead of maintaining a large social network. And also avoiding the superficial pursuit of happiness. Chasing superficial goals like wealth or fame often lead to disappointments as they fall into the 80% of activities that do not provide lasting happiness. So focusing on what truly matters can lead to greater emotional well-being and fulfillment. So through my own research, I conducted a survey, which I think you could call the shortest study conducted on happiness. And the answers to these questions really stood out to me. So the first question was, do you believe happiness is a choice? To my surprise, 92.3% believe that it is a choice. However, it depends on certain factors. So while life will always bring you challenges and stress, how we react to these situations is a personal choice. Gratitude also plays a key role in happiness. So finding joy in the small things and appreciating what we have can boost our overall well-being. And many also highlighted the importance of shifting our perspective to see challenges as opportunities for growth. And while most believe happiness is a choice, most acknowledge that genetics and environment also do matter, with one respondent stating that happiness is made up of 60% genetics and environment and 40% a mental choice. So happiness is a different experience for everyone, and it largely depends on these factors, but external factors can also influence our ability to choose happiness. The next was, what do you believe is the key to happiness? Again, it was emphasized that relationships matter. Connections with your family, friends, and a sense of community are frequently highlighted as essential to a happy and meaningful life. Support systems and shared experiences are seen as central to well-being. Your mindset and perspective. So maintaining a positive outlook and practicing gratitude, appreciating the small wins and what you already have in the present is vital. Many people believe that happiness isn't solely dependent on external circumstances, but largely how one perceives and handles them and being able to reflect on your own experiences. And the last question was, what makes a good life? Our relationships and social connections are emphasized as vital to creating a good life. The importance of being present in the moment, appreciating life's simple joys, while also pursuing your passions and your dreams. And also while finding a balance. A balanced life involves both joy and sadness, and respondents believe that experiencing and accepting both helps you enjoy the highs way more. The responses suggest that true happiness involves finding peace, even in the difficult times. So I watched a series a couple of years ago, and this quote really stuck out to me. So it goes as follows. I had a really bad episode of depression a few years ago. It felt like I was sitting in the bottom of a deep hole looking at the world going on above me. The ones that helped me the most were not the ones who tried to get me out of the hole. It was the friends and family who climbed down into the hole and sat with me a bit to really make things better. I felt this and it really resonated with me. I've struggled on and off with my mental health for a few years. And it wasn't anyone telling me what to do or some doctor prescribing me medication that I was never going to take. It was my friends and my family who sat with me, ate breakfast with me, took me for a drive and cried with me. The ones who made me laugh until I cried, and the ones who made me enjoy the simple things in life. And the ones who let me know that everything was going to be okay in the end, and if it wasn't okay, it wasn't the end. And I found my people through these really tough times of my life, and I urge you to find yours and hold on to them. So as we've explored today, the quest for happiness is not just about personal achievements or material success. It's fundamentally about our connections with others. So let's prioritize our social connections, because at the end of the day, when we look back on our lives, it won't be the grades we earned or the promotions we achieved that we remember the most. It'll be those moments spent with the people who made our lives the happiest. So I challenge each of you. Think more with your heart and go out today and invest in your relationships. Whether it's calling an old friend or spending quality time with your family, let's make happiness a choice that we actively pursue together. And in the end, it's not about what you know or achieve, it's about who you know and how deeply you connect with the people you've got while you're still around. Thank you.